Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Oh, sorry about that. All right, there we go. Let's just start with our guidance cards. Before we get to it, it's Tuesday Thoughts. So today is Tuesday Thoughts. I'm going to share some thoughts. Wow, we just had that one the other day. Share the things. So, let's see here. I have the Affirmators deck, Love and Relationships, that I'm going to talk about, as well as a book I'm doing right now of gratitude that I'm also going to share for Tuesday Thoughts. And yeah, but first, while I wait for people to come on, we'll pull some of these. And remember, if you're, good morning, baby sibling, if you're just like, yeah, I don't want to listen to your Love and Relationships Affirmators deck, just don't put it on as relationships, okay? When we think relationships, we automatically think romantic, but relationships are across the board, okay? I mean, if you talk to your pet, you're in a relationship with them, all right? That's what I'm talking about. You're a fur parent. So parent, fur parent, human parent, whatever, fish parent, you know. And you know, believe it or not, these things can actually work. Wow. So, okay, well, those just kind of came out on their own. So, you know, just hang in there, because you never know, right? So, ooh, some of these came from yesterday. Yesterday was an interesting perspective, but definitely feel like I got a lot out of that. Ooh. Okay. You are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. Dobby is free. You are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. Why does this always happen? I'm so sorry. This is the downside of wearing lipstick. Weird shit just happens. So anyways, yeah, you are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. If you feel it, run off and be free. Okay? Because that's what life is all about. It's about living in a place of feeling free, being free, just letting our minds go, opening our heart, doing all those things. When you heal, don't go backwards and try to anchor yourself back to the things that you've healed. Okay, you've moved on for a reason. Yes, it can be scary. The unknown is always going to be scary, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. But just have faith in yourself. Give yourself that shot, that chance at excuse me, at moving forward and being the person that you've always wanted to be if you're not quite there yet. Okay, that doesn't mean you're changing or being anybody different. What it means is that you're having personal growth. You know, you are moving forward on your path. And like I said, while it can be scary, it can be an adventure, and it can be fun, and it can be crazy awesome. So just go off and do that. Have a problem, punch it in the face. No, not literally, but take your power back. That's what you do, right? When you're on that journey, after you've been set free and you're not sure which way to turn, you know, punch that fear in the face. Say, you know what, I'm taking my power back and we're running off together. Me and my power running off together. We're going to go have great adventures. Let's see. Just go for it and do it. These are turning into a story. Just go for it and do it. All right. This is saying yes. I know. I'm so off today. But yeah, go for it and do it. Embrace your power. Right? Set yourself free. Take your power back. Embrace your power. Have that adventure. Got a good idea? Make it happen. So if you're sitting on a good idea right now, just make it happen. I am currently sitting on a story that I keep waiting for somebody to read. Older sibling. But I'm about to pass it on to someone else because I need feedback. But what's interesting about that is I kind of feel like it's a challenge for me because there's only... I get George McFly syndrome. Okay, and I get really nervous. And about other people reading my stuff because I can be very self-critical, so I just assume everybody else is going to be self-critical. But I'm starting to let people read my things, and for me to open up like that is huge. So a lot of times when it doesn't happen, it's not that I'm mad, because you know, sometimes my stories just aren't going to jive with certain people, but it's because I feel like I finally push myself into an arena where, I push myself out of my comfort zone, and then it just sits there. So it's not that I'm, trying to be disappointed. It's just I've put myself out there, and with people that, sit there and say, well, yeah, I'd really like to check this out, and then just do not have time for it. And it's just like, oh, and I get that. Some people don't. So I think for me, what's happening is, maybe this is happening so I push myself even farther into, out of my comfort zone, and let people who I wouldn't normally let see my story. I have tons of stories, but this one was very personal, and this one was very, very special and important to me, because it came from a place where I was teetering on the edge. And in some weird way, even though it's not directly my story, it's just a story of people. But like I said, it just happened. It just came out of my head, and somehow I started to heal more after that. Somehow I started to kind of find that footing that I needed in my healing. And so this story, that's why it's super special to me. It's super duper important to me. And, I know I was just totally throwing the guilt out there, but I do apologize for that. That maybe it's just time for me to let somebody else see it. Somebody that wouldn't normally see it. So, push yourself out of your comfort zones. Do what makes you uncomfortable. Give it some breathing room, and then do it. Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know the feedback you're going to get. And if it's, constructive criticism, take it and move with it. That's how we get better. So, let's see. Do what sets your soul on fire. We got that one yesterday. Do what sets your soul on fire. That feels like it's a yes. So, and we got this one too. Just be yourself, no matter what others might think of you. Be true to you and speak your truth. So that's supposed to be Luna Lovegood's glasses, but to see the nargles with. But, yeah. Be true to you and speak your truth. Don't let anybody stifle who you are. Okay? If they are like, oh, well, whatever. Don't let them don't let them stunt your growth. Don't let them stunt your growth. Don't let their inability to move forward hold you back. Okay? You know where you're supposed to be going in life. You know where you need to go in life. And, it's your journey. And there are going to be people that come and go. There are going to be people that come and stay. And the people that stay, whether they agree with you all the time or not, they're your people. They're your tribe. And sometimes they disagree with you or challenge you because they know there's so much more to you than you yourself can see. So, I do have an affirmators card. No, I have not looked at it yet because, as you know, Sibling and I have been doing the magic, which is 28 days of learning how to gratitude and stuff. And we're on day 15, which is magically heal relationship. I don't know, about healing relationships. Okay, and that's why, and it was funny because I had already chosen to do the Affirmators Love and Relationship deck. So I feel like it was important that I draw a card today. Like I said, I have not looked at it yet. But I pulled this before I found out what the next chapter was. So it all seems like it's fitting together. But the reason I want to talk about it, because normally I don't. Baby Sibling is starting a series, or in the middle of doing a series on this. And so, if you want to wait a week or so, she'll have all the, or maybe, I don't know. I don't know when she'll be done. But, because I haven't kept up with her on that, which is my fault. But, she is a busy girl. But I was saying, if you give it some time and wait for her to have the entire series up, you can follow it day by day. And what I like about it is you can even get the book. And no, this is not a paid advertisement, okay? Nobody knows I'm doing this but me. But if you follow along with the book, sometimes when you have somebody explain it to you or go through it, or maybe, sometimes it's just words, right? We read so much that sometimes the words, especially when you're trying to learn positivity and, get a better footing in it, do your gratitude every day, it can it can sometimes get jumbled in your head. So to have somebody talk about it and their experiences with it, that can be helpful. She said she's behind on that. She's a busy girl, okay, so you cut her some slack. But today was about healing relationships. And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because, talked a little bit about my own previous relationships, and I was kind of sharing it in the context of what we were talking about. Yesterday was kind of all over the board, so thank you to thank you for Baby Bear for hanging in there, because I was like, oh my god, I'm all over the place. But there's always going to be, whether it's a relationship that is current or somewhere in your past, that still might come up and haunt you a bit, right? I talk about one of my previous relationships the most because it's still, for all the people I've been with, I mean, I make it sound like I'm experienced. Not really. I had several boyfriends before I just seemingly fell off the radar. But there was one. There was a couple of them that, yes, did cheat on me, and that's ultimately what. And the funny thing is, this is how low my self-worth was. They cheated on me over and over again, and I stayed. Because I thought it would get better. I believe the promises. It'll get better. It'll get better. And then you make excuses for them. You try to cover up for them. You don't want, to make anybody, you don't want people to be upset with them. And so you just kind of roll with the punches. And the thing is, it's still kind of, I didn't realize how much it still kind of affected me, because certain things that had happened in that relationship have come up recently. And so when I was reading this chapter this morning, I thought, this is something that's so far behind me, but it's something I think I need to heal. And I've done the magic in the past, and I never really came up with this person before on what I needed to heal, or what I needed to fix, or what I wanted to make stronger. I mean, there are relationships that, you do have in your life that you want to improve, that you want to make stronger, that you want to make sure just are really on a good level. But this is the first time this person actually came up in my head to heal this. And I think it's because I'm ready, because it's time. It's time to let go of that anger. It's time to let go of that pain. And that's basically what it talked about. It talked about how to do it. And this is where it gets a little tricky, because it's about gratitude. And what are the things that I could find in there that I'd be grateful for, because it was a messy relationship. It was a very messy relationship. And we might sit there and think, well, how can I be grateful for anything? Well, there's got to be something, and you have to come up with 10 things. It's the name, I'm grateful for, and then whatever it is. And, they also brought up people who, like, maybe you have an ex-spouse or an ex-person that is the father of your children, right? Or the mother of your children. And you're just like, what? And this is where that can come in. So-and-so I'm grateful for. I mean, let's put it this way. And I've actually had to tell people this in my own life that have had issues. I mean, I'm old enough to have enough people in my life that have issues with their ex. And it's just like, but without them, you don't have these kids. Or without them, this doesn't exist, or that doesn't exist, or you don't exist, whatever it is. And sometimes that's what we need to do. It doesn't mean you have to invite this person back into your life if they're still alive. You could probably even do someone that's, gone and whatever, because what you're doing is you're healing your soul. It's not necessarily letting people off the hook, but what you're doing is you're healing your soul. You're finding a new way to move forward with bad memories of somebody. So instead of carrying the bad memories and constantly killing your vibe whenever their name comes up or the thought of them comes up, you're giving yourself the opportunity to put yourself ahead of, put yourself ahead of the pack of bad memories, and say, you know what? No more. I'm not going to let this harm me anymore. And sometimes it's exactly what we need to do. And I decided I was going to choose him today, because for as much as he hurt me, and as many times he cheated on me, and as many times he broke up with me to cheat on me, I realized I did have fun experiences, and I have to find them. There were a lot of things that I would have done, that I did, that I never would have done in my own life. Went to my first Cajun Zydeco festival, had my first level 5 heat. Don't know what I was thinking that day. My tongue was numb for days. Barbecue. Boy, those Cajuns, they get pretty spicy down there. But of course, I've had sriracha since, so who knows? I might be able to handle it now. But back then, I could not. I was not a big spicy person back then. But there's just a lot of different things. I got to know his kids really well, and we got along well together. Which, a lot of the stuff that I did with them, as far as having to parent them when he wasn't around, has helped me with my own nieces and nephews now, on how to be patient, how to be kind, how to just kind of explain things in certain ways. I'm still not that great at it because I'm not a parent, but it did teach me. It did teach me, and it kind of pulled me out of my own dark spaces, and so there was the gratitude for that. And there's just a lot of different things that we can come up with. And maybe you're just able to come up with 10. If you're not able to come up with 10 because you're just that angry, maybe you're not ready yet. But just keep working on it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be someone who's alive. It could be someone who's passed on. It could be a lot of different people that you can come up with. I mean, today is just to focus on one. But the reason I wanted to share that is because a lot of times what we don't realize is that this anger that we carry for other people, that can be an anchor. And that can be an anchor you don't realize you have, because it may not make you stick in one place, but it could be dragging you, right? It could be dragging you and holding you back. And that's the hard part, because a lot of times you're sitting there like, well, I don't get it. Why can't I move forward? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't that happening? And it could be that one small thing, which is actually not small, because it is a heavy anchor that's dragging you down, that's just making you move slower in your progress, because it's something you haven't healed. So if there's somebody that comes up in your head that just blows your mind in not a good way, maybe it's time to sit down and try to gratitude that healing, and that way you can let it go. You can even do a burn ceremony. You can do your 10 things that you're grateful for. You can read them back over, say your thank yous, and then burn it safely. Okay, especially if you're in Southern California right now, because they even said it last week or the week before. We no longer have a fire season. We just have fires year round. We used to have a fire season, but it's so dry here. We need rain so bad that we don't even have a fire season anymore. We just have fires year round, and they're pretty gnarly. So please, that's my PSA for this thing. Do it safely. Do it in a fire safe bowl. Do it safely in a barbecue. Do it, I don't care where you do it, but do it safely, and do not burn anything down. But yeah, you can do that as a ritual, and then just, when the ashes are cool, just let them sit for a while. You can either pour them in a thing of water and then dump them down the sink after you swirl them and make sure they're just liquid, or you can throw them in the trash, or you can bury them in the darkest place in your yard, just somewhere where that it's done with, that it's gone. But remember, once you choose to start healing this, do not keep latching onto it to be angry about. This process is about letting things go with gratitude. And it may be hard. It may be so hard. I actually did this for the last time I did this book. I did this with the person that caused my trauma, my childhood trauma. And I tell you, it didn't heal me right away, but it really put me on the path. It furthered my path of healing, and I forgot about it till right now that's the person I used, but it made me see that what holds me back and what needs to not hold me back anymore. So when it comes to magically healing relationships, it's possible. And again, I'm just going to reiterate this over and over because I feel like maybe someone's just not getting it right away. You do not have to invite these people back into your life. All it's doing is basically severing that cord, that angry cord. You know, sometimes people will respond to you. So if you say you're at a mutual place to drop a kid off and, with your ex person, okay, just be gracious. A lot of times when we vibe higher, they'll respond in kind. And it may not happen like that. Maybe they'll think, okay, what are they up to? But the more you do it, you actually may improve that relationship. And I'm telling you right now, that's going to be good for the kid. People don't always realize this, but children pick up on so much. I have a friend who has a daughter who was asking about, hey, can you help me? Because these kids are gone wild. And she gave her and her son-in-law some constructive feedback on why she thinks this is happening. It's because of the way they talk to each other. And the kids picked up on that. Kids are like sponges, guys. Kids are like sponges. They're going to pick everything up. They're going to notice everything. And they're not always going to say something about it, but they may act out on it in different ways. We've all done it when we were kids. I mean, how many times would you be walking around and then all of a sudden, boom, curse word comes out of your mouth. And you're like, where'd you hear that? Well, so-and-so was saying it the other day. It just felt like it was okay. No. Children are sponges. So, yeah, I mean... So we also have to watch what we say around kids because they can pick up on it, and they can pick up on that vibe too, especially if you have an empathic child. I know that's kind of stepping out of the box for some people, but I'm telling you, if I had known a lot of this stuff when I was a kid, a lot more things would have made sense. And I wouldn't have struggled. I wouldn't have, I don't mind being different. I don't mind feeling different. But when I was a kid, I did. I always, yes, I tread the line of weird, or I toe the line of weird, and I don't care anymore. And it's not because of things I believe in, it's just because I've always been different. And life kind of made me that way. I had to survive things that other people didn't have to survive. And I had to make it through, and I had to find ways to do that. And, eventually I embraced my awkwardness and my weirdness, and it's just who I am. It's part of my charm and personality. But here's the thing. When kids come to us and they have, maybe it's the craziest idea on the planet, entertain it. Don't say, well, that's ridiculous. Or don't say, oh, well, why couldn't you maybe you should have done this to make it better. No, they're proud of what they're doing. That's one thing I absolutely love about baby sibling. Her children have the most creative minds on the planet. I mean, seriously. I mean, one of my nephews will take a bunch of boxes and make a robot out of it. Just stick them together. And it's fabulous. And the way she reacts was like, whoa, you came up with that? It's like, good for you, or way to be creative. And she's very supportive of that. She's very supportive of the way their minds work. And so they're not afraid to keep creating. They're not afraid to show her what they've done because they know that, they're going to get the feedback that they need in that moment. Not how can you improve this, but hey, that's great. Good for you. What are you going to make next? Or what are you going to do next? So it's those kinds of things that we need to do. And it's one of the reasons why we really need to make sure that our relationships with other people are good, especially if children are around. Because again, they are going to pick up on this stuff. And, there was a lot of, I'm going to say this. I love my mom and dad. I love them to bits. You know that. But when I was growing up, not always the most patient people. And I've actually told them this because I told them, I said, well, I said, older sibling really helped kind of raise me the rest of the way. And she didn't. I mean, I was in my late 20s when I met her, but there was so many things that were just so rough around the edges about me. And she helped me smooth those out. And when my parents said to me one time when we were just out there all, well, we did. And I said, no. I said, you did the best job in the world in raising me. You taught me this, you taught me that, you taught me how to be kind, you taught me how to be gracious, you taught me how to be thankful and appreciative of things. But I said, she taught me patience. And I looked at them and I said, you cannot tell me that we're the most patient family in this world, because we are not. We're not. And I think we all learned it over time. And I think it was kind of an eye-opener for them, for me to say that. But it was true. And neither one of them really denied it. So it kind of makes you think like, oh, maybe we weren't. And it wasn't in a bad way. Okay, it's just sometimes we just grow in different ways, and sometimes it takes different people to show us what we know, but need it laid out. Kind of like what I was saying with Baby Sibling and the magic. Maybe you've been reading the book. Maybe you're like, oh, hey, here's someone talking about it now. Oh, now I get what they're trying to say in this chapter, because this person actually helped me through it. That whatever they're saying and relaying their own experiences, that's helpful. See, not everybody shares their experience just to be sharing it. I share my story to help other people heal their stories. I share my story to help give perspective to certain situations. Baby Sibling shares her situation. She is a widow, and she does a lot of videos about that. And she'll share her perspective. And I think that's good for people who are not widows and people who are, because it helps us understand them a little bit more, and it helps other people feel seen who are in her situation. Older sibling in her RSD and CRPS. She doesn't necessarily share it, but when she is in person with people, she explains it to a degree where it's like, you know what, I get it. Or in other cases, whoa, that's exactly what I have chronic pain too. Not me, but other people that are relating to her. And then they feel seen. So, while there are other people out there just saying, oh, look at my fabulous life, there are those of us here, and not just us three, but a lot of people. It's the videos on YouTube. It's the videos on TikTok. It's the videos on Instagram. And, the comments on Twitter, and sometimes even Facebook, where I gain insight into things where I need to heal because someone else is sharing their story. And the more we share about the way we can heal relationships, or the more we can share on what we did to overcome anger towards somebody who may have hurt us, but maybe, like I said, you do share a child with them. They share that, and they show how, wow, it's like we're on an even keel now. I mean, not all relationships are going to work out, and sometimes children are involved. But the thing is even if it doesn't work out between you two, you have to maintain some kind of positive relationship, because you do have kids involved. You do have children involved, whether they're adult or younger. Because a lot of times, if they feel like they, latch onto one parent more, they might start resenting the other person because you resent the other person. And do you really want your child to have that position with somebody else? No. Because you want them to develop something. Your child, no matter who they're with at whatever time, they're going to love you if you're a good parent. They're going to love you because you taught them things. You helped them grow. You helped them expand. You showed them what the world can look like. And we don't need to be jealous of one person or the next. It's just like with humans, period. We don't need to compete with other people. Sure, maybe someone over here looks like a saint and you feel like you're just shit, but you're not. Because you don't know what you're adding to somebody else's life. Okay, maybe you didn't exactly do what this person over here was doing, but that's them. That's their life. But how you live your life and how you move forward, and with the gratitude, the kindness, the patience, the trust that you teach other people, you have no idea how many people you're probably touching. You have no idea how many people are seeing what your story is doing for them and how it's helping them. So don't be afraid to share your story. Okay? I know that kind of went off the rails from healing magical relationships, but maybe that's the relationship you need to heal with yourself. If you can't come up with somebody to heal, to use that lesson on, look inward. Do you love yourself as much as you say you do? Or do you find yourself putting yourself down? Do you find yourself saying nasty things about yourself? Do you find yourself kind of jumping ahead and saying bad things about yourself, thinking you're going to beat somebody else to saying something nasty about you because you are insecure or lack that self-love? Then work on that. Dear me, I'm grateful for whatever. Maybe I'll do that one too. I think that would be a good exercise for really a lot of good self-love. To remind yourself why you love yourself, to remind yourself who you are, and what makes you proud of you, what wakes you up and gets you motivated and out of your bed every day. You know, maybe it's your babies, maybe it's your fur babies, maybe it's the people around you, maybe it's the job you love, maybe it's another glorious day. You know, you may have come from a very dark place and now you're in the light and you're like, wow, I did that. A friend of mine posted a very, very special meme, and I say special because I absolutely loved it. It showed a little stick figure or a little figure on top of a mountain with its arms up going, yay, I did it. And the caption says, this is what we're taught to admire. But then the next caption is the person, like this little stick figure, just climbing up from this ditch, right? There's like this huge ditch. And they're just at the other edge, getting up to that peak where they're about to raise their hands and say, yay, I did it. And it says we should also be taught to admire that. We should be taught to admire the struggle. Because when we look back, it's not just about the destination, standing on the mountain cheering for ourselves. It's really about how we got there. Because that's where the struggle was. That's where the strength came from. That strength came from falling into that ditch, walking across, looking up and saying, shit, how am I going to do that? To being at the top and saying, wow, I did this. And then you look back long enough. Don't look back always. Look back long enough to see how far you've come. And you'll be surprised. Especially if you're in a place right now where you feel like you're just whatever, whatever. Maybe you're in that place right now. And you look back and you're like, whoa, wait a second. I just did all that. I just overcame so much. And now I'm here. And sometimes when you're faced with the next big task in your life, looking back just long enough to see how far you've come will remind you of the strength that you have to keep moving forward, to keep climbing that next hill, that next peak, and saying, I've got this. Even if it takes a while, even if you have to stop halfway up and take a breather, it's okay. Just don't fall backwards. Find your footing and stay there for as long as you need to. Not forever, but just as long as you need to get your bearings back to keep on moving forward. All right? So, and that could be the relationship that you heal within yourself. So, let's see what the card is. Oh my God. I love when this happens. I just pulled it from the top like I did. I shuffled these a couple months ago. Self-worth. Self-worth. I this is why I don't look at the cards until I'm done talking, because I always like to see if it's going to fit. And, see, look, she's standing on top of the peak. Now, the interesting thing is she's standing there looking proud with her medal around her neck. All these people are going, wow, look at her, in awe. But maybe only half of them realize what she's been through to get there. Maybe only half of them realize the hard work. And not just the physical hard work, but the mental and emotional hard work it took her to get to this position. Okay? So when we look at people who, who win championships or who win medals, don't forget about the other people. Maybe not everybody wins an Olympic medal, but everybody worked hard enough to get there. Okay? And I know a lot of times I don't know why I keep saying okay. Everybody works their ass off. Even if they don't make the team, they're working their ass off to make the team. And that's any team. That's a team of life. Okay? Maybe you don't think that you're doing enough or working hard enough, but don't judge your oh God, I can't think of the word, progress by somebody else's achievements. Okay, your progress is your progress. You don't know what they went through to get to those achievements. While you're off enjoying life, they may have missed their entire childhood just getting to this place. And they may look back at you and say, wow, I wish I was able to do some of those things. But no, I had to practice to be perfect to be here. And they may resent it. They may not be as happy as you think they are. And if they are, they are. But what I'm saying is we don't know their story. So don't judge your progress by their achievements, because, as long as you're progressing and moving forward, be proud of yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Just be yourself. Because that's what people love. People love who you are. They just want you to be who you are. You don't have to be a saint to be loved. All right? So, self-worth. I cast off all concerns about what... I love when this happens. I cast off all concerns about what people think of me. I know I'm a totally kick-ass person, and my kick-assness can never be diminished by rejection. So, people can think what they think and feel what they feel. In the meantime, I'll just keep on knowing what I know without thinking about what they are thinking about what I already know. I think. I cannot believe I made it through that without tripping over it. Basically, I cast off all concerns about what other people think of me. Don't worry about what other people think of you, right? The next line. I know I'm a totally kick-ass person, and my kick-assiness can never be diminished by rejection. We're going to get rejected in life, people. It's not always going to turn out all sunshine and roses like we want it to. But if you give up, you're never going to see the acceptance. You have to keep moving forward. It's like, every week I say this, right? It's what baby sibling told me a long time ago. Progress, not perfection. Because progress is the real perfection of it all. Progress is where we see how far we've come, and we see, even when we think we can't get to point B, we're like, oh. And then next thing you know, you're on your way to C, right? You're on your way to point C, way over here off the screen. And you had no idea how you were going to get to point B. But then poof, you just totally ran right by it. Because you found your mojo, you found your motivation, you found your kick-assiness. Because you stopped worrying about what other people thought. And you just decided, you know what? I don't care. This is me. This is what I'm going to do. This is who I am. Maybe I'm not so-and-so over here. But for all the people that make you feel bad for not being so-and-so, they're the other people that say, who cares? Are they as happy as you are? Are they doing the things they want to be doing? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Just live your life for you. What other people think of you is none of your business. Okay? So my kick-assiness can never be diminished by rejection, so people can think what they think and feel what they feel. Just focus on you. And like it says here, in the meantime, I'll just keep on knowing what I know without thinking about what they are thinking about what I already know, I think. But I like this part. I'll just keep on knowing what I know without thinking about what they are thinking. Live your life. Be who you want to be. Trust your instincts, trust yourself, trust your intuition. Open your heart. Allow yourself to be free. It's just like that card, right? Let's see where to go. The Dobby card. I call it the Dobby card because it's got the sock. You are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. You are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. What weighs us down a lot of times is our focusing on what other people think about us. So if you are going to do the magical healing relationship and you are going to focus on you and gratituding everything you love about that, remind yourself to not worry about what other people think. Yes, it can be hard. I fall victim to it all the time. Am I good enough? Am I smart enough? Am I creative enough? Every time I make something and I post it to Facebook, a lot of times a lot of things just go by the wayside, and I'm not sure if anyone sees it because of the time of day I might be posting it or what. But then every so often I'll find a piece and it's like, ugh, no one's going to want this. And it's always the first thing to go. I literally had a bracelet up on my Facebook page for less than 10 minutes. And then when I went back to check, just went into Facebook to check my messages, or not my messages, but to check, just to, scroll through, just to mindlessly scroll through, I get a notification that it was already like, I want this. And it's like, wow, it's not even been 20 minutes. And already, not even been 10 minutes when I looked at when they said it. And it was just like, oh, okay. And see, all of a sudden, bam, piece sold. So sometimes you just have to trust yourself. You just have to believe in yourself. Maybe it's not going to be for everybody. Maybe it's just going to be something that, tickles your fancy. But the truth is, you did this. I always run everything by older sibling first because, she's right across the hallway. And sometimes at night when she's watching TV in her room, I'll just, I'll be creating in my room and I'll come out and I'll show her, hey, I just made these. What do you think? And she's like, oh, wow, these are really nice. And so, and a lot of times I think it's just, I'm looking for approval, which I shouldn't need to be looking for. But she'll throw other things in, like, your artistry is very interesting. And or she'll be like, I can't believe you just made this in like 5 minutes. Sometimes when I just lay things out, it just shows up in my head. Like, this is what it should look like. And we have to trust that. And that could be anything. I'm just giving you examples. But that could be anything. Whatever you dream up, whatever you come up with, this is your soul telling you, hey, go for it. It was just like that story I started writing. It's, there's just a very small detail of my own story in this story. But none of them truly represent my story. Well, it's hard to explain, okay, without giving everything away. But let me just put it this way. It came from a place where I knew I needed to heal. And in this story, I created 8 other people in my head. And somehow that healed me. Because somehow in my own way, through every single one of these characters that I was writing, I was expressing a feeling. I was expressing a part of me. I should say that their scenarios may not necessarily be me, but part of their emotions are. Then, not feeling accepted, not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy enough, wishing this or wishing that, or, why couldn't it have been this or that? All these different things. And as I laid them out into each character, and I saw each one and how they healed, it seemed to heal that part of me that existed in each one of them. And because of that, I moved forward into a place of healing that once and for all and letting go of that anchor. It was because of that and opening myself up to write something. It's dark, but it's not dark. But to just let it out. It was almost like being at the top of a mountain, just screaming at the top of my lungs. But to put it out there on paper, it was a big deal for me. And I'm really not realizing until that now, and I think you can tell by the way I'm talking about it, that I realized that that's why I healed, because there is a piece of me in each one of them. Because I literally started out saying, yep, none of them are remotely like me, but they are. So, as with many perspectives, as I talk through it, I also start to see a different perspective. I also start to see where I'm coming from from certain angles and in certain things. And that's what we do with life. Just like they say, if you're upset, give it a moment, give it some time, give it a few minutes, yell, scream, kick, throw a tantrum, but let it go. Because if we don't, it festers and then it grows. And when it grows, it can grow into something ugly. It can grow into something very destructive. And then when it's that big, it becomes harder to heal. It becomes harder. Doesn't mean it's not healable. It is. But it becomes harder to heal because we've let it grow and expand into something so much bigger than it needed to be. So just take that time to think about that. And, take the time today, if you want to find a way to heal just pick one person for now, for today. If there are several people, pick the worst. And then maybe over the next couple of days, just do this exercise. But remember, write down the name I am grateful for, and then the what. And then finish it. Then when you're done, read back through your list of 10 things, and after each one, say thank you, thank you, thank you. Because that's where we start to learn how to heal. We put gratitude in a place of anger. And I know a lot of people might think that's hullabaloo, but you know what? I can tell you it's not. Gratitude has helped me through a lot of my things. And I tell you, this is, like I said, this is about the 4th or 5th time I'm doing this project or this book. And it's the first time I'm actually getting anything out of it for real, because I'm in a place now where I'm looking at it and saying, I get it now. I 100% get it now. I didn't get it before because I wasn't ready. I wasn't there yet. Maybe 1 or 2 things would stick with me, and those are the 1 or 2 things that I would run off with and just make work for me. But I'm not looking at it anymore as a be-all, fix-all solution. I'm looking at it as, okay, this is where I'm at, and this is how I need to move forward, so that I move forward in grace, so that I move forward with some level of positivity that I will allow to grow. And like I said, now it makes sense to me. Now it's actually doing what it's supposed to be doing for me. And that's not everybody. Some people get it right off the bat. It just took me a while. So just know, no matter what you do, if you keep practicing at it, you keep going for it, eventually it will make sense. And eventually you will get there. Just don't shame yourself on how long it takes you to get there. Just go at your own pace. Remember the saying, the important saying, progress, not perfection. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow is Self-Care Wednesday, so I hope you will join me for Stress Reduction Essentials. I finally got it. You know I won't tomorrow. I'll see the box and be like, wait, what? How do I say this? But Stress Reduction Essentials tomorrow. I know. We'll start off with the Sacred Ritual Self-Care deck, as we always do on Wednesdays. And I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care of yourselves today, guys. Heal those icky relationships that need to be healed. You know, that way you can find better footing in them, and who knows, you may set an example for the person who may be coming at you the same way you're going at them. You know, just all that fighting. It takes one person to start it, and then the other person may pick up on it. You can only hope, right? But when you change your gratitude, when you gratitude your attitude, it changes your vibe. And when your vibe changes and people come into contact with that vibe, believe it or not, it can make a difference. All right. So again, have a great, great day. I will see everybody back here tomorrow. Self-Care Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on Facebook Live. It is public. Anybody can watch. It's under Shelly Marie Lucas, which is my name, or I upload them afterwards to YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for watching.